Hello, gamer family, and welcome to the Alex Studios Studio Backlot Podcast. Today, Josh is currently BRBing. He'll be back soon. But we got two guest stars on right now. Holy baloney in my salami socks. We got Seth, who we talked with yesterday, so he's old news. And Brett! So, Brett underscore hockey, in fact.
Yep. Good job. You can read my username. Glad you can still read.
Yeah, so hockey. You like hockey, huh?
No. Just to confuse everybody.
Yeah. You actually hate hockey. It's your least favorite thing ever, right?
Correct. There you go.
Yeah.
It's a conversation starter, so I can tell you how much I hate it.
Yeah. So like in second grade, we were at recess on the playground. He knows exactly what story I'm gonna tell. Brett, he had a broken arm.
Because you refused to let this story die.
We weren't friends yet. It would be years, and I can't remember why, but he was grumpy. He was like, "I'll break your arm too." I don't know.
Yeah, that's the story. Over a dozen years ago, I threatened to break his arm to make him like me. I guess.
I don't know. I don't remember any of the context. I just know we didn't become friends until 4 years later because we didn't have a class together until 6th grade. This is where we became friends. Because you're cool. But yeah, so like you like hockey, obviously.
Correct.
But like hockey's dangerous. Like
and
one time I can't remember. You had like thanks, Seth. You had like I can't remember. It was a not broken leg. It was something sprained in your leg in like 11th grade or something as well.
10th grade, I would have had my dislocated knee.
Oh, it was 10th grade.
And then or maybe that was freshman year. I had my dislocated knee. Sophomore year, I broke my collarbone.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, and
always a fun time.
Yeah, and like starting like in high school, we like always had a class together, so we always saw each other in high school, which is awesome. Because it meant pretty much all my friends I always had a class with, except for Josh. Josh was really the only friend I didn't often have something with. Because even Brandon, I wasn't always had a class with him, but I at least always had theater with him, so I still always saw him. Ethan, I didn't really have a class with for a while, but we rode the bus together, so... Well, he did theater too, so I saw them both there. And then, like, a lot of the other people on here, obviously, were all in my grade level at theater, so I all knew them from there. So it was always nice, like, being able to keep up with all my good friends throughout all of high school. And obviously, homeroom sucked in a lot of ways, but that is one way it didn't suck. We played so many card games during homeroom.
Well, the three of us refused to get in trouble, so we got to do whatever we want, while everybody else got in a ton. Our class got in so much trouble, our teacher hated us so much, he refused to be our homeroom teacher the next year. We had to switch teachers.
I don't think he hated us. That? I just think he always liked having freshmen.
We were fine. He hated everybody else. If it was a class full of us, he would have kept us.
Oh, did you actually talk with him? Is that actually why?
That's my understanding, is he hated the rest of our homeroom class so much, because they were all disrespectful and wouldn't do anything, that he wouldn't have us again, besides the three of us.
I thought it was just that he always just liked having freshmen in his homeroom. I figured that's why.
That probably was a factor, but we made it a very easy choice that he didn't want to watch us again.
Other than us and different Ethan, but Ethan.
Yeah.
Because we're cool. We're funny.
Have you talked to him in a while?
I haven't.
I don't know the last time I talked to him. Homeroom, probably.
Yeah. No, definitely homeroom.
Ethan? Which Ethan? There's like 3.
The one that's not in this Discord.
Okay, that narrows it down to 2.
I know his last name, but that means you have to bleep it out later.
I would say hair color, but two of them have the same hair color. The one who has a last name close to me and Brett's. because he was in our homeroom.
Okay.
It starts with the same letter, correct?
Yeah. That one. Because homeroom was sorted by last name for the most part. There's exceptions. People that didn't go to the same high school as us freshman year were typically the exceptions. And people that had problematic people also got jumped around a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But like me, Brett, we were 4 years. We had one teacher for 3 years.
Who also yelled at us for playing cards too much, but that was literally the only thing we ever got yelled at.
She didn't like hate us. We wouldn't pay attention to anything we were supposed to. We would just be playing cards instead.
Correct.
We were also like the only people that would talk in the entire homeroom, essentially. It would be silent except for the table that we're at while we're playing card games. And it was fun though. Homeroom. I actually did enjoy homeroom when we were allowed to play cards.
Well,
You all delinquents?
Yeah.
You acquiring the teacher? Wow.
No, it was fun. I have not played ERS since homeroom. I can't even remember the rules. I'll have to ask Cole what they are again.
It's probably been 2 years since I played ERS.
Oh, so you played it after high school?
Yeah.
I
did
need
it
to
on
teach
a-
my college friends ERS because it is such a wild, wild game. Egyptian Rat Slap. What a game. What a
You
name.
think I did it while I was on a rock climbing trip. When we came back, is that like a collective like restaurant place you could camp at? So there's this outdoor space, so there's a ton of people out there. I think that was the last time I played it.
And then why can't I remember the name of it? Mao? Mao was the one where you had a guy that would just create all the rules, but you couldn't find out the rule. That was also a really fun one. Of
We
course,
spent way too much playing that game to figure out the rules.
I used to have like whole spreadsheets of a bunch of different rules. Also taught to me by Cole. Cole was like the connoisseur of knowing a bunch of card games. We also played poker a ton. No, sorry, not poker. We played blackjack a ton. We didn't play
That's-
poker. We played a
I
ton
was
of
gonna say,
blackjack.
We had nothing to
Poker.
bet, so
Well, yeah, we had nothing to lose, so we played it a ton. I even had like these nice good set of cards that we used for a little while that they like use in casinos. We played a lot of blackjack with those, but eventually those cards got worn down. I went through so many decks of cards in high school, YouTube. At first, I would just sneakily grab them from my house, but later on, my parents would just buy me whole new sets, and I was like, oh, cool. But like, we went through probably like 10, somewhere between 10 and 20 decks of cards.
I have the same deck of cards for the last like 6 years. I don't know how you went through that.
But
many
how
times.
often do you use those deck of cards?
Pretty frequently.
I don't know.
Remember when you got mad one day and threw the cards all around and got it stuck under one of the chairs and then kept blaming us for stealing a card that you lost stuck under one of the chairs?
Sounds like something high school and me would do. I do not remember it. But it's your fault, Brett. It was your fault!
For losing the card that got stuck under the chair. That is exactly.
I do kind of remember a card being stuck. I don't remember the rest of it. I definitely remember the blaming, though. That definitely sounds like me.
Well, because then we kept fueling it because Ethan and I knew where the card was and wouldn't tell you where
Oh!
it was.
That's
And you
hilarious.
kept
That's
blaming
funny.
me for stealing it, and Ethan's like, well, I don't have it, check Brett. And I was like, well, check Ethan, he's the one that has it. So we kept fueling the fire, and you just kept getting more and more upset until we lifted it off the chair, and he was like, it's been here the whole time. I don't think you said sorry that day. I think it was like a week later when you apologized. If you ever did.
I can't remember how. I guess we had homeroom 2 to 3 times. No, we only had 2 times a week because we had the Wednesday days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that also sounds like me. It was probably a Thursday to a Monday thing, but still, either way, that's still a long time of me being a dumbass.
Hey, I didn't go that far. You called yourself that. I didn't do that.
Yeah. Trust me. Well, I was a dumbass. I am a dumbass. We all know this. I miss playing cards that often, though. The only card game I can play these days by myself is Solitaire. I'm good at Solitaire, but
Dude, the amount of how much Solitaire I played last semester was nuts. Like, or I guess 2 semesters ago.
I didn't play a ton last semester, but my freshman year of college, oh my goodness, I'd play nonstop. I played so much Solitaire. I was even playing it in one of the videos, the worst idea ever, which is Ethan's idea of like a smash or pass for each Pokemon. I was playing Solitaire during that. Then I made a comment about, oh, it's so hard to. I hate how sometimes it's so luck based, so you don't get a good hand. And Ethan started making fun of me. And then I made fun of him. And we made fun of each other. And it's funny. I found that I like that moment because we're just like, oh, you idiot! No, you're an idiot! You're an idiot! You're an idiot! Kind of like the Brandon Man scene at the end of Alex Point. Of you're stupid. No, you're stupid. It was kind of that thing. But yeah. So, back to hockey. We got distracted.
Oh, we're going.
We
all the way
got
back.
distracted because we started with hockey, then we got to homeroom, and then now back to hockey. So obviously, how long have you been playing hockey now? A really long time.
Since I was probably 4.
So 17 years.
Going on 17 years. Yeah, this will be my 17th season.
Would you say you're good?
Yeah.
I'd hope so. After
I'd say,
17 years.
I'd say I got the MVP for my team senior year in high school.
That's cool.
Oh, and then I had state champion 2 years running, freshman to sophomore year for competitive hockey.
I'm
So,
pretty sure I remember that one. That was definitely really cool. I know, yeah, from what I've always heard, you were pretty good. And then I remember, like, you always watch hockey when it's on. Like, there's plenty of times where I was like, hey, Brett, you wanted to know I'm watching hockey. It's like, oh makes sense.
yeah, my friends back at school kind of yell at me every now and then because I'll be like, we'll have a party or people will be over or something, and I'll like sneak away or put the game on in the background, and everyone's like, we don't care, stop watching hockey. And it's like, well, I care, so be more interesting. And then they don't be more interesting, so I watch the game.
Honestly, understandable. No, that's just funny. It makes sense. And it's funny. You like didn't talk about hockey all that much either. So like during school, which like felt weird.
To be honest,
because like obviously you're a very different person than me. Like I'm like a very different person. I sometimes struggle not to talk about things I love. And then there's you just like sitting over in the corner, just watching it on your phone, or just not doing anything. It's like, what?
Well, in
I
high
want to
school,
hear about that.
well, I wasn't going to talk about it in high school because I played for.
Because it was a shared team, though, right?
There was no ownership or representation of our school, so why talk about it? Because the other team, well, we hate.
Yeah, and Zach was kind of same with volleyball as well.
Yeah. So.
Because that was also a shared team. Because I don't. Swimming, I also think was a shared team.
I think, and that one was okay.
But golf wasn't.
Yeah. Well, at least with like swimming though, you're not wearing like other teams' logos or anything. It's just you're swimming.
Were you actually wearing other school's logo?
The first year I played, he didn't have a jersey. There was. Eventually, they came to have 3 different jerseys. It would have been one.
Oh, it was 3 schools in one?
So it depended on the season and when we played. It would be either the 2 of us or the 3 schools that made up our one team.
Huh.
But for the vast majority of the time, I don't think I ever wore a jersey when I played. So I never wore my own color.
That's wild. Just like the amount of air horns that YouTube heard over all those school names.
I was trying not to.
Yeah,
say
no,
that
no worries.
because
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're talking about sports teams. There's not a lot you can do to censor that. There's not a lot you can do, so don't worry.
Well,
no, that's
either way,
that's a me
the
thing,
enemy.
not a you thing.
So we had to play for the enemy, and I didn't appreciate that.
I mean,
and
technically they weren't the enemy because it was all one team, but at least in hockey they weren't the enemy.
For that situation, correct, but we still hated the school, and the coach made it very blatantly obvious he didn't care about anyone from our school, and openly disrespected us. So that was also why
that was very unprofessional of him, though.
Oh yeah, he probably should be in jail if I'm going to be honest. With the things he said in a high school locker room about people, He never said it to me, so I can't confirm any of it. But from my understanding, is the things he said probably should have landed him in at least some hot water.
Interesting.
And say he got fired senior year.
Oh, that's good.
Well, let go.
That's,
He walked away, but he got fired for all the crap he did.
Yeah, so some context for you two. We have 2 high schools right by each other where we live. They're obviously very rivalry filled. For the record, I'll be the first to say that the other school, the one that we didn't go to, is better. But that's besides the point.
No.
Yes. They have less of a hard drug problem, which is one positive.
No.
They technically have a better theater program, so that's another
not
positive.
while we were at school.
And if it weren't for one specific program that our school had, the academics are also better at the other school.
I will disagree about academics and the drugs. While we were in school, they had the drug problem.
Fair. Both schools have really bad drug problems. But we're the school that had the alleyway to do drugs in.
Well, that was off campus. They had police dogs consistently. They had locker search downs. We didn't have that.
I actually think we did have locker search downs every once in a while.
Every
so
often. Theirs was consistent. They had
Yeah.
drug dogs in there all the time, and it wasn't for weed.
That to me though sounds more like them actually just being more proactive and trying to stop it than us. But I don't know.
Because they had it. Because it was such a big deal. No, they had a much harder drug problem than we did in high school.
At least we didn't go to.
True that. and say we have the most extracurricular classes in the county.
Yes, but a large part of that is because stand out. That's the big, technically drawaway, is not a ton of schools have that. But anyways, yeah, out of that rivalry, a couple of years ago we won. For the first time in like a decade, we won and we had already graduated. So it's like, oh come on, with the football, like we won. It's like, oh, come on.
I think you like barely won too.
I think we won 2 years in a row. I think one of them was barely, then one of them was not barely.
Okay, so maybe thinking of the first year.
I think we won multiple times. I don't know how many. I think we won twice the past 3 years, though.
We might have. I'm not sure.
I think we won this year and last year. Or maybe not this year, but the previous 2. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we won 2 years, though. It's when our class graduated that we started doing good.
Yeah, I think it might have been sophomore. So 2 years ago and then this year that we were decent.
I guess either they all lost all their good players, or we finally have good players, one or the other. Or both.
Yeah. Cheer's still good, though.
Oh yeah, we won state multiple times when we went there.
And they still are.
Ah.
They went to state again this year.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
the other reason I know is because I follow one of the coaches on Instagram still.
Ah.
So I was gonna say the name, but then that's one more thing you.
I already know one.
No.
Oh. I'll censor that, obviously. So you don't need to say the one you follow. I was just wondering if it's the same one.
I think I have like a few. I think I have like a few of our high school teachers on Instagram. Not like a lot, but like a few.
I have none.
The rock climbing teacher. Yeah. Okay.
I don't think I have
What?
any. I'll quickly chat.
I have the previous choir teacher.
She's on Instagram?
Yeah.
Oh.
I also have the accompanist.
Oh,
The
yeah.
choir
I've been meaning to follow her.
What else?
Have you heard anything from our homeroom teacher or freshman homeroom teacher in a while?
No.
The last he posted was April 30th. So
Some people just don't post often, though.
You think maybe something for the holidays or something, but
I mean, the only thing I've posted for the past, like, a lot of months at this point is Alex Point, so... Sometimes people have just a specific thing that they post, and that's really it. Like, I'm not going to be posting anytime soon. Actually, that's not true. Technically, because as of recording this, Alex Point isn't actually out yet, so I actually have one more post I need to make, so... But after that, I'm not gonna be like posting it like at all in 2024. I don't think. I have no point. I have no reason to.
Yeah, I have not been posting to Instagram at all.
On either of your two accounts.
Yeah.
I just
well,
got.
So
I get the follow from your second account. I was like, wait, what? Seth has 2 accounts now? What the heck? What? Why?
I followed the second one.
I have both of them followed.
The reason that I have 2 accounts now is because for one of my classes, it's my theater career development class, we had to make like a professional social media account.
Figure.
I don't expect that I'll be on that one all that much. But yeah.
I figured
At least
it was school related. You created the second one, but I wasn't positive.
Yeah. I do have a third one. It's for a rock.
Rock?
Yeah, and it was made in high school.
I feel honored. You only follow 3 people on your second account, and one of them's me. I feel very honored.
Yeah. So the rock account that we have, it was like a joke with and some of my friends. We created it in high school because one of my friends made like for their art class they painted a rock and stuff like that, and so we just decided to give it a social media account and characterize it.
Oh my goodness, one of the other people that you follow I knew in high school. He was in Sweeney Todd. Noah.
Oh, what? Wait.
Yeah!
What account is that?
He's in Sweeney Todd. He even has pictures from Sweeney Todd on there. Oh my goodness. He's the guy who, what's the game called? I don't know the name of the game, but there's a game where essentially you have to, where you whisper something in someone's ear, then they flip a coin. Oh, then you ask someone a question, no one else hears the question, they answer the question out loud, then a coin is flipped on, if it's heads, they have to say what it was, if it's tails, you only know the answer. He's the one who taught at least our group of friends that game.
Oh, Alex, I think you're the only one that I actually follow on that account. I think it shows
3 on mine.
Well, that's because.
That's followers. That's followers. No, I'm the only person you follow on that account. That's an honor. That is an honor. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, Seth. You are the G.
You're welcome.
Wow, that's an honor. Man, my
That's
ego's
cool.
gonna be skyrocketing, Seth. You've created a monster. You've created you know what Brett was talking about me blaming everyone else for losing that card? That's about to happen again. And it's gonna be it's gonna be your fault. Yeah, I'm already starting. I'm blaming everyone else but me. It's gonna be your fault. And Brett's fault for bringing up that story. Not Josh's fault. He's not fault at anything, though.
Awesome.
But you two.
But if you have the card. If you have the card, Josh.
Yeah.
If I have what?
Do you have the card? You have the card, don't you, Josh? You stole the card.
No. You should ask Brett.
Brett, did you steal the card? Did you steal the card, Brett?
Seth had it last.
Seth? Where's the card?
He's gone. He fled.
Oh my goodness.
He ran away with the card.
He had the card.
See, I told you, I don't lie. Why do you blame me for everything?
Wow, we got really distracted from hockey. All this came from talking about hockey. Anyways, moving on.
Alex pointed out the fact that I would talk about my hockey career as that's been the side story to this whole thing.
Anyways, you still play hockey, right?
Correct, yep.
And that's one of the reasons why you chose the school that you went to, because they have a good hockey program or something like that?
Unfortunately, no. I didn't chase my hockey career. So I stopped, competitively, I stopped playing after high school.
Oh, really? That's unfortunate.
The school I went to had a program at one point, and the whispers through the wind told me that the guy that was running it supposedly started stealing money from that program and the people that were on it, having players that weren't in college on the team for a college team. So, because I tried to start the team again when I went to school. I couldn't get any information, nobody would really talk to me. So, my understanding is they got like a 5-year ban that they couldn't have a team. and so the school wants to disassociate themselves with it as far as they can, rightfully so. So yeah, there is no team out there.
That stinks.
But I'd say I could have played probably for a couple years and went and played juniors or something and went and played somewhere, but it wouldn't have gone past that, and I would have just taken another year before I would have finished school and spent a lot of money to play.
Well, that's a shame. So you're saying we're not going to see Brett_hockey in the NFL anytime soon?
No.
NFL is football, so yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I meant to say NHL.
Oh, you got the National and League, right? So
yeah. I mean, you're also not going to be in the NFL anytime soon either.
No, I can't.
Yeah, so it's technically correct.
I'm from a certain point of view, but you're not going to be in the
That's
NHL
kinda
anytime
correct.
soon, I'm hearing.
Nope.
That stinks.
Well, the funny thing is there's a kind of a competitive league in the town that I go to school at. I now can't play for them either because if you wanted to play, you had to sign your contract before you turn 21. Because you can't play after you're 21. So I missed my hockey career, I guess, because now I can't go play for them because I'm too old. I can't go play for that league.
That's unfortunate.
Which there's plenty of other ones. If I really cared enough, I'm sure I could go pay and play somewhere, but I would spend a lot of money and a lot of effort to play for a year.
Guys, I think this is the first video I've ever recorded where everyone here is 21. We can all drink!
Legally!
Yeah, legally.
Alcohol.
Alcoholism!
And we can all drive, but at different times.
Hey, for a legal reason, yes, I agree with that statement.
Sorry, I know that's unrelated again, but I just realized wait a second. We're all 21. It's a Christmas miracle. This video is being uploaded in May. It's a Christmas miracle.
We can gamble now too. Well, we can go to casinos and gamble
Yeah.
now.
Guys, you want to go to Las Vegas?
Right now?
Right now. Cancel every other plan we have. It's Vegas time, baby.
Vegas
You know how many casinos you would pass to get to Vegas?
A lot.
Correct.
I did not ask.
I don't care.
No, I don't want to gamble. Addiction runs in my family's blood, so no, I do not want to gamble. So, no.
That's fair.
Twitter's attitude, but...
Oh, wow, Brett. Trying to get me
Come on,
to
man.
get a gambling addiction?
Love playing Russian roulette. Good game. Good gambling game.
It's my
Fun
favorite.
game.
It's the best game. Especially when you actually make it 5 bullets and 1 blank instead of the other way around.
Best way to play.
Yeah.
I feel like if people made Monopoly a gambling game, people would hate it even more.
Put real money in Monopoly money?
Here, give me just one.
And he's dead again. He still has the card.
He still has...
He still has the card. I can't believe you have the card, Seth. Give me back my ace of spades.
I have an Uno reverse card.
Oh, in your wallet?
Yep.
I can
Bring
respect
it
that.
with me anywhere I go because you never know when you need it for emergencies.
Never know. He's always prepared.
I have the ace of spades. It's actually up in my bedroom. Anyways,
And there goes
so I think we finally got through the hockey. We finally finished everything I wanted to ask. It took a lot of tangents. But hockey's not the only cool thing about Brett_hockey. You studied abroad.
That I did.
You should tell us about it.
What do you want to know? That's a very broad question. Just tell me
That is-
6 months of your life. Sum it up into 1 sentence, please.
Yeah, let's start
Actually,
with a
yeah.
1 sentence
Yeah, do
summary.
There's no power, I didn't get robbed, and the beaches were cool.
South Africa, right?
Correct. So,
That's quite a ways away. I imagine, everything felt completely different.
Not necessarily, because it's been a British colony. Well, it was a British colony for the last 100 years, and then it's really Americanized.
Really?
So I'm like, there's pizza, burgers, shopping mall. Like, it didn't really feel like I was, like on Mars or just in a completely different environment. And most people there speak English, so there really was no language barrier.
Interesting. So it felt very Americanized. Like, obviously, I knew it was colonized for the English for a long time, but I would have thought that it still would have been felt more like England than America.
No, I'd say it definitely felt. Well, I guess I haven't been to England, so I can't say that. But I would say it was pretty Americanized.
What side of the road did they drive on?
The left side. The wrong side.
British!
Well, yeah, I was to say they were a British colony when cars were invented, so that's not a surprise. And I did drive on the other side of the road.
I was about to ask,
really
because when we had Cole on, he said that he pretty much avoided driving when possible in England. So I was gonna ask, so how was that, like, learning curve? Like, was it, like, really fast, like, oh, no problem, and it's just something that you just understood in your mind? Or did you, like, find yourself accidentally driving on the wrong side of the road?
There was, like, 1 or 2 times where I was, like, gonna take a tight turn and get on the right side, and I was like, oh, no, don't do that. But I honestly didn't have a learning curve. It was really interesting. The first day I drove, I got dropped off by some friends and did a shark diving, where I saw some sharks, and then when I was done, I was gonna get an Uber back to our Airbnb. The service was horrible, I couldn't get it to load enough. So I walked the 1.5 miles or whatever it was up the main street towards our house. Just walked home. When I got there, my friends had dropped me off, went on a hike. It was like a 3-4 hour hike, and they got to the end. There was no parking lot, there was no one to give them a ride. They were stuck. So it was either walk the 3 or 4 hours back to get back to our house, or have me get in the car that I have never driven and go pick them up. So I got the keys pulled out of the house, went down the road. The only thing I was thinking was the movie Remember the Titans, where they're saying strong side, left side, where they're all like team building crap. That was all I'm thinking, because you have to be on the left side. So it just was repeating, stay on the left side. But after that, it was not a big deal. I started playing music on my phone and driving.
Nice.
I would say I didn't hit anything, so I guess we're not in trouble. So
All I remember is that there's this one joke in Phineas and Ferb, because their stepdad is British, where their mom tells them, remember to drive on the right side of the road. And I'm just like,
the
oh
right
my
side
goodness.
as in being
Get
the
it,
left
because
side
he's
is right.
British. It's such a basic joke, but it gets me every time, and I don't know why.
But I'd say it was a gorgeous country. It was definitely worth going.
Really?
But
So obviously, you mentioned no power is one of your one-sentence summary things.
correct. So that was probably the most learning curve I had. They had load shedding, so they can't make enough power to run their country's grid for 24 hours. So everywhere in the country will lose. Well, most places will lose power, anywhere from 2 to 12 hours a day. We were pretty lucky because we were in a big city center, and my understanding is the grid was older, so it couldn't really handle the constant turning on and off, because then it would blow all the generators and stuff and make it worse. And they had a lot of stuff, so they had like Ironman races and swims and all kinds of stuff in our town, so it was pretty touristy.
Okay.
So they tried to keep the power on a little bit better, but most days we lost power, I think 2 to 4 hours a day.
Dang.
So back to my comment about solitaire. So I played a lot of solitaire because there was no power. So I'd either just sit in my room with the window open, or I'd go upstairs to the rooftop and hear the waves on the beach while I'm playing solitaire.
Oh, so you were like
Nothing else to
really
do.
close to the ocean then? Like, so you
Yeah,
were...
I was 2 blocks away from the beach.
Wow.
So I was a 5-minute walk to get down to the beach every day if I wanted to go.
And you mentioned Airbnb as well, so like your study abroad, they didn't like provide like proper housing, or did they just provide the Airbnb, or like how did that work?
No, so the Airbnb was if we went like out of town and did some exploring and
Okay.
stuff. For where I was at, they have an entire complex, an apartment complex,
Oh, okay.
dedicated to either international students or other people from all international students. So around the world and from other African countries all stay in this apartment together. So that way you were forced to be with people kind of in your same situation, so you could meet people and all that kind of stuff. My roommate was a local. Across the hall, there was Germans and Norwegians.
Wow.
And then the other apartment complex had the Americans, French, and then everybody else that was there. So
Really? That's pretty cool.
yeah, there was 2 different apartment complexes, and I think it was. So the start of the semester, I walked a couple days to school, because I didn't have a car. But towards the back half of the semester, I had to send classes with other kids, so we drove together. But I'd say I walked a lot of places there.
Yeah, fair. And like, it sounds nice to be like right by the beach. And you said you were in a town center, obviously. So you had a lot of the like conveniences nearby. So like you had a grocery store nearby, so you didn't have to like worry about like long walks to the store to buy stuff or anything like that either.
Well, so 2 blocks, one direction is the beach. 1 block, the other direction was like a shopping center. So there was like a liquor store, snacks, like a little dollar store kind of convenience thing, and then a whole grocery store. So I walked a block to go to the grocery store and grab all my stuff, and I'd say I made most of my meals down there. I'd say it definitely was very reasonable with the exchange to go out. To get a full meal with a drink, it was like $6. So I'd say I didn't eat out all the time because I can't afford $12, $15 a day on meals. But it was really funny to listen to the Germans because they're like, oh my gosh, this is so cheap. And for them, they complained that the grocery store was really expensive when I could spend $30 for a week's worth of groceries there. So I don't really know what they were complaining about, but they loved going out and eating all the time because it was significantly cheaper. Because I'm like, if you go out to a restaurant here, you'd spend $20, $30 to get a meal and a drink, besides water.
I guess that makes sense. I wonder if there's some German law where fast food has to cost more, and then they also have laws that grocery stores have to cost less to incentivize people to eat out less and get their own groceries. I imagine there's something like that. But $30 for a week's of groceries does still seem really cheap.
Oh, yeah, it was. The exchange rate was very beneficial for me coming in.
So what was the currency there?
Rand, R-A-N-D. I'd say.
I'll take your word that the exchange rate was good.
Well, while I was there, it was anywhere from like 15 to 20 Rand to $1.
Wow.
And yes, probably a bad example, but to get a beer at a restaurant, it was 30 Rand, so $1.50 for a beer. Wow. At a restaurant, it was $1.50.
That's
really
good.
Store, I'd say at the store, I could get a nice beer for $1 or less a beer.
That's really, really good. It was like eating out here in the States, alcohol, like a happy hour can get down to like $3, but typically it's 7, 8, 9, 10, if not more.
Yeah,
like
so
my mom drinks margaritas, that's double digits. Typically it's like, wow, okay. And my dad's beer, typically not double digits, but it can get close.
Yeah, we'd usually get a couple liters, but they would be served in a liter glass bottle of beer, so that's like 2 or 3 beers, and we spend like $1 on it.
Wow.
So it was obviously cheaper to buy in bulk all the time, but so yeah, that's how cheap it was. And so, like I said, food was probably $30-$40 a week. And then I could make any meals I want: sandwiches, pastas, fried rice, whatever you want. I had meat, milk, eggs all the time.
So, obviously, you mentioned most people there spoke English, so I imagine most like the sides and stuff were like either in multiple languages or like in English. So I'm assuming just as a whole, not even talking to people is easy because most of them knew English. And I imagine just getting around wasn't that hard either because of the abundance of English.
I'd say everybody down there spoke English. Most people had a second language, but everything was in English. People spoke English and stuff. So
nice.
I'd say there's a ton of taxis around there. It's hard to miss them because they're always honking their horn trying to get your attention. Or one guy will be literally hanging out of the vehicle yelling at you to try and get in their taxi. I never rode it because it's not like a bus system. They kind of go where you want them to go, and they can take advantage of you and not let you off, or you pay significantly more than you're supposed to.
Yeah.
So I never took any of the taxis because it was a vice not to. So I either walked anywhere or just rode with my friends.
Yeah, how was public transportation? Because I know that's like one of the big things that like sets England apart from us is they have so much like buses, trains, and subways. How much of that was in South Africa? I think he froze.
I would say
I think
pretty much past
sorry.
taxis, that's about all you had.
Okay.
But they were not near as did Alex die. So it not as much infrastructure.
Okay. Interesting. That's pretty fascinating stuff. So obviously, you went there for school. I imagine you did plenty of schoolwork as well. So what was the work-life balance there? Like, was the workload about the same as when you're in the States, or did they like give you less so that you could explore more? And was there like any like specialized topic that you were studying there? Because I know like a lot of the study abroad, like film programs where me and Josh go, are very specific. Like, oh, if you go to France, you're gonna be watching a lot of French movies, stuff like that.
No, so I don't know why. My schedule just kind of lucked out. I needed gen eds, and they all happened to be pretty much in the same semester. So I had a couple business classes, a couple psych classes, but it was anything I wanted to take. The workload was a little lighter, but the frustrating thing was if you get to the point that you become a teacher in South Africa, that's kind of like being tenured. They don't care. Or depending on who you get, some really care and are great teachers. Those are the classes I passed. Some don't care. They don't respond to their emails. You can't get a hold of them. There's no office hours. Well, they claim they have office hours, but you can't find them. There's no... Like, you'd have to spend hours tracking them down to just even find their office. And like I said, they wouldn't answer their emails, they wouldn't answer questions. And so I struggled significantly with those kind of classes. Because there was like no rubric, there was not clear what they wanted from you. And again, they wouldn't answer, so I couldn't give them what they wanted. And so it was very difficult to pass. And say, I even failed a class out there.
Really?
Really?
So it was intro to negotiation skills. I feel like I'm a pretty good public speaker. I can negotiate. I understand the concept of what negotiation is. So it was a lot more of like the theory behind what it is, how it is, and the science terminology crap. The teacher thought it was a full semester class when it was only a half semester class. So we lost an entire test worth of points already. Everybody failed the first test, and I didn't do well in the second test, so I had little to no points in the class. And he was still under the impression we had another like 6 weeks and had more points to make up, then realized he didn't, so he didn't even realize his own schedule for the class. So he gave, for our final, was just the 2 tests we had taken. That's all you had. And everybody failed the first one, and I didn't do well in the second, so I had no points in class. He gave an extra credit opportunity to write a paper. I wrote it, but I didn't get enough points to pass because the teacher didn't know what he was doing. And like I said, I emailed him consistently. I tried to find him. I couldn't. So sometimes people once they get into positions of power, they kind of take advantage of it and don't do anything.
You can argue that to the head of the school. A lot of people have similar problems at our school where the teachers kind of, or like the system kind of screws over a student, and if you argue with it, you're able to get it turned the other way.
Yeah, that teacher sounds like a bingus. Maybe even a bunger.
Yeah. So, I can see, and then one of my classes was a psych class for his consumer behavior. Loved this professor. I was able to meet with her to go over one of my tests because it was a cumulative test at the end. So I wanted to make sure I understood, because I didn't do well on one test. So I went and covered the material with her, and it was weird. I don't understand. The test I didn't do well on, it was supposed to pull from like a pool of 200 questions, and it was going to give you like 80 of them. So it was pulled at random. Unfortunately, it didn't pull 80 unique questions. It pulled like 70 unique questions and recycled 10 questions I had done previously while I was taking the test. So if I got it wrong the first time, I got it wrong the second time.
Oh.
So I lost like 10 points just because it recycled the same question. And because I went and talked to her, she gave me like half my points back. So then she gave me a new test asked me 10 different questions to get to the same amount of points or questions everybody else had. And I think I got like 6 out of 10 or whatever, so she gave me points back that if I hadn't gone and talked to her, I would have never gotten back. But she was so understanding, she cared, she clearly wanted me to learn.
Mhm.
So I'm like, it's not everybody just like taking advantage and doing nothing. If they care, they really care and do a good job. So
Sounds like
just
pretty much
really
any other college,
hit or miss.
honestly. You got your schlocky schlocks, and then teachers that actually care about their job, care about their students, want people to do good, to pass. It's like, hearing all this teachers say, majority of people actually fail my class, that's not something to be proud of. That means you suck. That means you're bad at your job.
yeah, that's a reflection on the teacher, not
yeah.
the class.
So, like, no, that seems like a good teacher.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that class.
I feel like one of the pet peeves that I have with some professors is the professors that refuse to learn. I don't know if you guys all use Canvas or like a substitute sort of thing.
Yeah.
Any professor that refuses to learn how to use that
Oh, God.
when like
Yeah.
everyone else does.
Or they like have a secondary website that you do all your homework and stuff on, and then refuse to give you your grade on that website, or the
Yeah.
transcript, or just refuse to tell you what your grade is and doesn't let you look at it again.
Totally
I
didn't
don't
have
have-
one of those just last semester.
Yeah, so did I.
Oh, that sounds like a massive L. It's funny. I imagine you all like hated, like despised Canvas when we switched to it in high school, but I've gotten to a point where I'm just so used to it now that I no longer hate it.
I
Yeah.
care less.
Mhm.
I'm there.
Well,
Kinda
what's the
forgot.
point of being upset?
The other website existed.
Yeah, Schoology. Oh yeah, days. Canvas is so much nicer, and I guess that's why
Mhm.
like all the schools started updating, because Canvas actually updates their stuff and tries to keep it up to
Mhm.
date. Here's a question for you, Seth and Brett. Do your school still use Gmail?
Yeah.
No,
Ah.
we use Outlook.
Well,
Alex,
Brett, I'm gonna warn you now.
We're changing soon.
I'm gonna warn you now, Brett. You may not be using Gmail for long. Google's being
so?
mean to schools.
In what way?
Essentially, they're charging them way, way, way more now, for less. So schools are like, nuh-uh, and are switching to Microsoft. Except, OneDrive and Outlook are so much worse than Gmail and Drive that I want to die.
I hate OneDrive.
And say Microsoft does
I don't
better.
really know how to use OneDrive.
Yeah.
It's just the UI sucks. It feels worse to
Outlook
use.
is good.
I don't know Outlook, but OneDrive sucks.
I
I don't know.
Outlook's.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I said my thing.
This is the opposite of the blaming for the cars. Now everyone's just saying, go ahead, but nobody has anything to say.
No, Outlook tries to be too fancy. There's too many steps. It's not streamlined.
Yeah, that's like what that's
just
how I feel about
Microsoft in
OneDrive. Yeah.
general. Microsoft in general just tries to be super fancy.
It sounds
Which,
like it
if you
pays
know
off.
how to
Like,
do it-
I like when they added tabs to Windows Explorer. That was nice. That's like the one reason to update from Windows 10 to Windows 11. Tabs in Windows Explorer, so you don't have to have like 7 different Windows Explorers open. To like when I make a thumbnail, I no longer need to have like 7 different windows open. I can just use one window with a bunch of tabs, and oh, my life is good. That's like the one good thing about Windows 11. Everything else is worse than Windows 10.
Yeah, I still haven't upgraded. Still Windows 10.
Windows 10's good. Windows 10 is actually pretty good. I actually liked it. It obviously had some issues, but overall I think it's the best version of Windows in the modern day. I'll always be nostalgic for XP and Vista, but that's me. That's just me. Everyone else grew up on Windows 7, but none of the computers in my house were updated. I didn't even know it wasn't Windows 7 until I actually learned what Windows 7 looked like. I thought for the longest time I grew up on Windows 7. No. I think it was Vista. I think I grew up on Vista, which everyone hates. But I was like, oh, but I like Vista. I like Windows Vista. Well, I'll say this. I still like Windows 11 more than the Mac OS. Like, the physical hardware of Macs and MacBooks I actually really like. I really like... Apple makes beautiful monitors. Their monitors are beautiful with great displays. But I don't like their operating system. I don't like Apple's operating system at all. I like iOS, but macOS I do not like at all. But eventually, I'd love to get like an Apple computer, but just put Windows on it, because you can run dual machines pretty easily on Apple computers. You can run dual machines pretty easy, because macOS is also better for running all the Adobe products. They run better there. So having like a Apple computer where I can run Windows for personal life, and then macOS for stuff like editing, that'd actually be really nice, because those Adobe products are optimized for Apple, not for Windows.
How do you plan on putting Windows on your Mac? Because there are a lot of engineering students who had Macs, and because most engineering programs don't work on Mac, so they have to try and get Windows on it, and every single person hates it doing it that way.
Really?
Any Windows program that you run with any method you choose sucks. It is so slow.
Really? I've never heard any issues with that before. So I guess it would be something definitely to look
every
into more,
person.
But I've never heard any issues with that before. But I also don't need engineering stuff at all, so like using Windows would really just be for my day-to-day life, not for like these engineering programs, because I don't like coding.
I think our programs are less intensive than any film stuff that you have. So if you do film stuff, it's definitely going to be worse.
Yeah, I don't know why, but Adobe products are supposedly a lot more streamlined on Apple.
Oh, that's good.
Well, and say, even with one of my programs I have to run for my degree, it does not work on Apple. You can't get it on Apple. And all it is document reader. So it just reads your blueprints, and then you can like mess with it.
Apple, I don't like Apple in a lot of ways, but I know they run Adobe products well, and their monitors are phenomenal. So no matter what, like when I eventually build a PC, I'm gonna obviously make sure it works for us, but I want an Apple monitor either way. Even if I don't get an Apple computer, because their monitors are awesome. They have great colors, great displays.
Are they extremely expensive?
Yeah, that's the problem. They are expensive, but they also are phenomenal.
I need to get like a new power system for my desktop.
Ask Zach, he'll help you out with these.
Yeah, I have the hard drive, but Zach said that because it's I think the connector for the like hard drive or something like that, whatever I got for it, is 8-pin. Meanwhile, the only plugs on the desktop are 6. So I think he said that I need to get a new power supply.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Yeah, work with him on that. He'll help you. Zach loves building computers.
Yeah.
So, just like ask him and he'll like do it for you. Well, he won't do it for you. He'll tell you what to do. He'll be like, hey, this is what you need. 1, 2, 3. All that. All that. Wow. I'm just trying to think if there's really any other final thoughts. Do any of you have anything that you're dying to ask each other? Because all the things I really wanted to hit out got hit hard.
I don't think so.
So actually, there is one more thing. Starting with Cole, there's a question that we ask everybody that's on here.
Oh no.
This is not the Games Unlimited Games thing, Josh.
Oh, okay.
That's not our thing. Our thing is, are there more eyes or legs on the planet? That's our thing, Josh.
Okay.
Eyes.
Is that the question?
Yeah. Are there more eyes or legs?
Eyes. Look at all the fish around the world. They don't have legs, they only have
And now,
eyes.
what do we define as an eye? Because a hurricane has an eye.
Okay, we're talking living creatures, Seth. We're talking living creatures. But to go further
Good
on that,
point.
something like a compound eye counts as one eye, not like all the pieces that make up the compound eye, because it's one physical eye.
If we're talking about living creatures, then it would have to be legs.
Because you have to think of all the fish in the sea. Not a single fish has legs.
Let's break it down.
That's true.
Let's break it down, Donkey Kong style. So let's first talk about mammals. Most mammals, excluding humans, humans are even. 2 eyes, 2 legs for the most part. They're irrelevant. But a lot of mammals, 4 legs, 2 eyes. Now, obviously, there's exceptions. Dolphins, whales, those are exceptions. Birds are like humans. 2 legs, 2 eyes, most of the time. They're irrelevant to this question. Reptiles do whatever the hell they want. You have snakes that have no legs but eyes. Then you have frogs, 4 legs, 2 eyes. Oh, those are amphibians. Whatever. They're all the same. They're irrelevant. Fish. Yeah, you're right. They only have 2 eyes. No legs. But they're irrelevant. Insects.
Tons of eyes.
Insects. Most insects have more legs than eyes, and there are so many insects on this planet. Now, if you were to not count insects, eyes wins because of fish. But there are so many insects that if insects are a part of the question, legs wins.
And technically, they are living creatures.
So is plankton, and plankton only has eyes. So if you go high,
Ooh.
I mean, obviously not every
you
insect
guys-
has legs, but most insects have way more legs than
Wait a
eyes.
minute.
Mosquitoes
Wait a
are a
minute.
big one. There's so many mosquitoes. They have more legs than eyes. Just basic old flies, they have more legs than flies. A lot of the common insects, ants have way more legs than they do eyes. So a lot of insects have more legs than eyes. Now, obviously, that's not always true, but most do.
Alex,
Yeah?
I think Brett brought up a really good point.
Oh, really?
He mentioned plankton having eyes, and I looked it up. That's right. Then I looked up how much plankton are in the world. It says there are a billion type of plankton. I'm getting a little.
Wait, hold on.
That's what it says. That's what the first result said.
But there's also over 10 quintillion insects.
I don't know how much a billion is. So
Do plankton technically have legs, though? From what I'm reading on Google, the thorax appendages are called periopods or walking legs.
Legs! You just said it! Walking legs! So I'd say yes. Let me Google it myself.
There are 3 planktonic larval stages. The carapace covers the entire thorax. The thorax appendages are called periopods or walking legs, while abdominal appendages become swimmerets.
Sounds like legs to me. So I'll count them as legs. But there is... Wow, Brett, we've had
Googled,
multiple...
"Does plankton have legs?" and they say no.
Oh, you did? You Googled that?
This is Google, so I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying Google, on the very first thing, if you look up, do plankton have legs, Google suggests that they don't.
Okay. So okay. Man, I forgot
And
what I was
again,
arguing.
that might just be a very generic
Do they have
answer.
eyes? Oh god.
Yes, they do.
6 eyes. Interesting. I'm still gonna assume that more insects have more legs than eyes, so I still do think it is legs, but you raised an excellent point.
Well,
and this is only one species of, like, creature. So there's always possible there's more like insects, creatures that we don't even know about that have no legs and more eyes and stuff like that. So based on the knowledge that's been brought, I still think there's more legs, but you did raise an excellent point.
Well, but to go to your point about insects, let's say spiders. They have as many eyes as they do legs.
But most of their eyes are part of compound eyes, which we've established as one eye.
No, not necessarily. Well, I'm like...
Actually, no, that is a good point.
They do have separate eyes, yeah, they're not compound.
Amoebas don't have any eyes or any legs.
I'd say I just googled spider. Google says spiders have 8 eyes.
Yeah, 8 or 6 is what I saw.
So they're close to not marking themselves at 0.
Yeah. How many ants are there in the world?
Amoebas are just tiny cellular blobs. How many ants are there?
There's 1 quadrillion ants. Is 1 quadrillion bigger than a billion?
Okay, well, so just to go off that, so we'll say ants have 2 eyes and they've got 6 legs, so then make that 4 quadrillion just in ants.
Okay, but how many fish are there in the world?
I was gonna say, I think I saw something of like, I don't know what the number.
2.5 trillion. Okay, and there's 7 something billion humans.
8, actually, technically.
Yes, it's about 3.
I guess quite a bit of it comes down to numbers.
For simplicity's sake, I'm still gonna say legs, but this question's like unanswerable unless you know every single species on Earth and how much eyes and legs they have. Because I'll tell you this, the past people that we've asked this question, we didn't think about planktons. So, Brett's just flexing his muscles on us. What was the other question I asked Josh about the gloves? More gloves or,
Socks.
Are there more gloves or socks in the world?
I'd imagine socks, just because more people use them. Gloves are more of like a utility sort of thing. And they're usually also something that's only really worn seasonal. I mean, but then again, there are, like, looking back into older times when gloves were more of a fashion statement, I'd still say socks.
Brett?
Sorry, what was the question?
More gloves or socks in the world?
Socks.
Well, Seth, here's what you didn't think about. What do doctors use on their hands in surgery? Not just gloves. Single-use gloves. Socks aren't single-use. Gloves are single-use, baby. They both... And not only that, but doctors apparently go through giant boxes of gloves really, really fast, as we learned last time we had this question. So, theoretically, there are more gloves in the world. Take that, checkmate. Because most socks come in... Obviously, both things are like, you need to have 2 at a time, essentially. But you buy gloves in bigger boxes than you buy socks. You buy like 100 pairs of gloves in one thing, but you buy like, what, 15 pairs of socks in one thing? So obviously, most people have way more socks than gloves. There's a lot of damn hospitals. There's a lot of jobs where you need to have gloves on. Whether it's cooking, so restaurants, hospitals, hazmat type stuff, all these use single-use gloves. So, I think gloves wins by a long shot. See, I said that question as a meme, like one of the last videos, one of the last podcast episodes. I said it as a meme, and then Brandon and Josh kept like adding all that stuff on. I was like, huh. Because your first thought was when you first think about it, the obvious answer is socks, because you only think of like mittens, gloves you wear for the cold. Yeah. People typically only wear 1 or 2, only have 1 or 2 of those. But as once you start getting into like the PPE gloves, and you're like, okay, that's a lot of gloves. So yeah, gloves. But fashion-wise, there's more socks. Because most of the gloves in the world are very specialized use. So in a fashion sense, there's more fashion-y socks than gloves. Yeah. That's actually everything. That's actually everything. I had to throw out those impossible questions for you both. Thank both of you for for coming on the pod.
Sorry.
Oh.
Nope, we're not done. To throw a wrench into this, because I'm going down this rabbit hole. I didn't even realize this. Apparently, jellyfish can have up to 24 eyes.
Okay, but
just some more food for thought. Jellyfish have eyes and don't have legs.
Brett really wants eyes to win.
No, I found on a Reddit hole and they're like, jellyfish have eyes. I was like, wait, what? Jellyfish have eyes? Like, guess it makes sense,
Hold on.
but-
That's
I'm looking at this.
crazy. Maybe there
Yeah.
are more eyes.
I'd say, just was interesting. So I guess jellyfish have lots of eyes.
Okay, but hold on. Squid tentacles are... Oh, gosh, dang it. Well, that's squid. We're talking about jellyfish here.
Well, are there little things on the jellyfish? Are those legs?
Are you gonna count those?
I wouldn't call those legs.
I don't think I would either.
Sure.
They count as legs if they have full control over them.
Box
Actually,
jellyfish have 24 eyes.
do legs need joints? Do you have to have joints for it to be a leg?
Yeah, I think so.
So octopus don't count either. Those aren't legs then. Those are tentacles. Tentacles are not legs.
Huh.
Those are probably arms.
Yeah.
I would give you an arm. I wouldn't give you a leg.
Oh, I'll take an arm. I'd love to have a third arm.
So I'm not making an argument for one or either side. Now you know, box jellyfish have
There
24
are
eyes.
so many insects. It's just a matter of how many of those insects have more legs than eyes. It all comes down to the insects, I think. It's like, obviously, there's over a quadrillion ants. Those have, like, what? I don't know. Is it 6 or 8 legs? I don't know. But one of
They've
those
got
and
6
2
legs.
eyes.
So they're at 4 legs.
They have,
Wait. Oh, yeah.
Well...
So each
Well,
ant either has 4 or 6 more legs than eyes.
Well,
6 legs.
some
Oh,
Redditors
6 legs, so 4
claim-
more eyes than legs.
Some Redditors
Eyes
claim
are-
that there's only 5% of the ocean explored though too.
Yeah, that's also a very good point. Brandon actually did mention that. You know what?
It's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up. It really could go either way. It depends on what's in the ocean and how many of those insects have how many legs. It really goes to stuff that we don't know. But right now, with what Brett's been saying, it definitely is now leaning a little bit more towards eyes. I'm still going to go legs because there are so many insects. But you raised some excellent points. Anyways, for real now, this is the end of this episode of
Wait. Did you know this animal has eyes?
Mantis shrimp have 16 to 24 eyes. Whoa.
Oh, hey, there's another interesting fact for you.
Well, YouTube, this is the end of the Studio Backlot podcast for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. We had 2 wonderful guest stars. We had Seth and Brett. I blame you for everything. I don't actually blame him. Anyways,
That's what he says for the camera.
no, like, he put way more research into this question than we ever thought to. Anyways, goodbye.